Hi, this is Pete Williams for Unico University. Today we're going to talk about the newest member of the Unico family, which is our vertical air handler. This is a one-piece unit. There's no assembly required with this. This is a painted unit, as you can see right here. This is your blower module. This is your optional hot water heating module, and this is your coil module. Now you notice with our coil module, if you can see this, these are two flare fittings. So later when we talk about the I-series, everything will be flare fittings. So we made the job a little bit easier for you by making these flare fittings here. Now you can't see it, but inside of here this is an A coil. That's why we can get more capacity out of this. We make this in three sizes currently. The 2430, which is what we have right here. We have the 3036, and then the largest one today is the 3642, our 3 to 3.5 ton system. So what we have with this is we basically make everything available for you. Now this can be mounted in, as I say, a closet. It's ideal for a closet or mechanical room, but you could have it in a basement, you could have it in a garage, anywhere that's practical for you and your homeowner. And what we don't supply with vertical air handlers is return air. So we don't make a return air with this. We field fabricate one. We use a tool that's variously called a ductulator. You can see one here. This is one from American Standard that you can get from your American Standard wholesaler. Trane makes one that's identical. It's like a wheel. Goodman makes one that's like a slide rule, as does Hart and Cooley. So in this case here, we have to design this for 625 CFM of air. Now just a little math, that's 250 times 2.5, 625 CFM. And we want to design this for 0.05 inches of static pressure. So taking a look here at 0.05 inches of static, and it's a little tough when we have to get these numbers that close. 0.05 inches of static pressure would be a 14-inch round diameter duct. So if you're using our UPC4, that's a 14-inch duct. In this case, we're running rectangular. So we take a look at our rectangular dimensions, and we see here 14-inch round is the equivalent of, say, 18 inches by 10 inches. So we can fabricate our own. We have the return over here. It's coming into the bottom. So the return comes into the bottom. If you are putting this into a closet space, you could use a free return. Now that would be making a piece of sheet metal approximately 14 inches by 12 inches to put underneath this, and then you would have a filter rack. So you would get a filter to fit in there, and you can just have it open. You can just use the louvered grill, again provided that that louvered grill will provide 625 CFM of air. It comes directly into the air handler. Now it's a little quieter when you do ducted, as we have right here, but again with return air duct we're no different than any other system out there. This is from the ACA Manual D. We always want to make sure there's a 90. You never want to look inside a return air grill and see a motor, so we put a 90 in there. It is better if we use something with acoustical properties such as fiberglass, or in this case here we have lined sheet metal. So again, return air is very simple to do with this. Again, if you don't own one of these, just about every wholesaler carries this. As I say, most of the major manufacturers have one. Hart and Cooley has had one for many, many years. So these are readily obtainable. And they're an essential part of your toolkit with Unico. You should have this anyway because these are really designed for sheet metal systems. So that's all there is to the vertical air handler. As I say, this is a really nice project because this eliminates about 30 to 45 minutes of assembly work that you had to do with the system. Let's move the camera over here for just a second. This is what we did before. We had what we call the multi-poise system. So we have the blower motor. Now you notice the blower is 17.5 inches wide. The coil is 13 3/4. So we have this gap. And to fill this gap up, we have this spacer. And underneath the spacer, there's a fill plate. And this would be the fourth item that you would have, would be this vertical air handler stand. And the stand came with a disposable filter, and it had a space in it for a slide-in hot water coil. So this is still out there as an option if you prefer, but I will tell you it takes you about a half hour to 45 minutes to take all the plates off and rearrange them. So this does cost slightly more, the new vertical air handler. It's painted, it's one piece, and again, it's 30 minutes of labor that you'll save. So this is really something that looks nice for the homeowner if they should ever happen to look in the closet and see the air handler. This looks very professional. And we did make it easier for you, as I say, when the I-Series comes out with this, by using flare nut fittings with this. So that's all for today on the vertical air handler. I hope you give this a try. Again, probably 85% of our jobs are installed horizontally, but they don't have to be. They can go vertically. Thank you from Unico.